Granniopteryx, granniopteryx. She knows the truth, she's linking every link.
Hello. In light of the news that Lucy Connolly is considering legal action against the police for misrepresenting her statement to them when she'd been arrested, I thought it might be worth going over the last turbulent year of the United Kingdom and the behaviour of our government after the I've got to be careful here. Most of my viewers are on YouTube and there are very strict rules about the words you can use. So sorry about this. After the dreadful events that happened in Southport. So I thought we'd start with the top, because the behaviour of the police might not have been the result of a direct order from the top, although of course it may have been as well, but it certainly was in the context of the atmosphere that was generated by this guy. So I'm going to remind you of the things he said straight after the Southport incident, and I'm going to compare them with what has happened to the entire British people in light of that incident. All right, I'm Granniopteryx. Please like this video. As I say, if you click like now, you're going to help my channel. If you don't like what I've said, by the end of my video, you can unclick it. So you're not committing to anything, but while I'm asking you and your mind is on it, please click that like button. You can share the video, of course, and also please subscribe to my channel. Yeah, that would be useful. If you want to help me financially, as most of you know, I spend most of it on my horses. And yeah, that's about it. But all the links to the platforms that you can use to donate to my channel are in the description. Right, so let's get on with the stage setting. You notice the two Union flags behind Keir Starmer's shoulders, making him look like some sort of a... I mean, they look like wings, don't they? Like he's some sort of an avenging British angel with that hard stare on his face. No sympathy for the people who lost their children, just vengeance. And indeed, murderous vengeance when it came to people like Peter Lynch. OK, here goes.
I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend.
And that's to start off with a lie, isn't it? Because it wasn't far-right thuggery. There was some definite violence, and in different parts of the country. In Southport, it was just grief-stricken outrage from the people, the locals, who knew that something odd had gone on there and were not happy about the way the police was withholding information. They therefore assumed that it was something to do with the migrant accommodation in the town, and they all focused their protests on that. But most of them weren't focusing anything more than holding up posters. Indeed, Peter Lynch was holding up a poster. He was arrested for it. I hope the police who arrested him never have a minute's sleep for the rest of their lives. OK, for those of you who don't know, he was convicted in one of Starmer's kangaroo courts, went to jail. It's just a rather sick, I mean, he had multiple health problems. Older man, he couldn't take prison and he ended up, well, the story is that he ended up putting an end to himself. I'm not entirely sure about that either, but certainly he didn't come out of prison alive. OK, let's carry on.
Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence...
And that was He referred to it as this violence. It was a protest, and those that participated, again, people like Peter Lynch, there was some 13-year-old kid who was standing at the back watching, that sort of thing. They were all scooped up by the police and thrown into kangaroo courts.
Will face the full force of the law.
And this is the instruction from the boss. The commissioners, the heads of the police departments, they're just following what their boss is telling them.
The police will be making arrests. Individuals will be held on remand.
Now, when he says on remand, he means there will be no bail. So nobody will have a chance, as indeed that happened to Lucy Connolly, and I'm dealing with that in a little while as well. When you're held on remand, it means you're held in jail until they get round to giving you a trial. And there were so many people there. I'm sure some of the solicitors were incompetent, but I believe that many of the others might have been saying, look, you're going to be on remand. There's so many people. It's going to be months before you come up for trial. Probably better to plead guilty and you'll get a slap on the wrist. Yeah, well, that didn't work out, did it?
Charges will follow.
Yeah, they're already guilty, according to him.
And convictions will follow.
Quite. And that is the atmosphere created by this leader of the country. No sympathy for the problems that had been caused, no sympathy for the deaths, no idea that maybe we should just let some more information out so more people know exactly what was going on. It turns out that the murderer was I'm not sure he was an immigrant. He may have been born in Britain, but he was certainly the son of immigrants, and there was some problem there with him, and none of that was released. And they hid behind the idea that he was under 18, and because of that, they, the law said, when a minor is involved in a crime, you can't give out the name. And now Starmer is going to give 16-year-olds the vote. And that was the mandate. I mean, that was in his manifesto. So they already thought that a 16-year-old was old enough to vote when they came into office. And suddenly this 17-year-old had to stay anonymous. The whole system is crooked and used by people like Starmer just to their own advantage.
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online and then running away themselves.
And that was just a bald-faced lie. What he's referring to here is Tommy Robinson, who was out of the country at the time. As a matter of fact, he didn't know about this. He was travelling when this happened. He was going abroad. I think he was going to Greece, to somebody at the door. Just a minute. Sorry, postman. All right. So I was talking about Tommy Robinson. He said running away, making posts and running away. He didn't. He didn't know what was going on. He'd been leaving the country to go on holiday, and the police wanted information from his phone, which he refused to give them. So they confiscated his phone, and then he carried on his journey through France without his mobile phone, and he didn't know anything about what had been going on in Southport until a couple of days later. But Starmer was accusing him of whipping up far-right thuggery and then running away. The whole government started out with a face full of lies, every single way along the way. There's absolutely no honesty from that government from its very start.
This is not protest. It is organised, violent thuggery.
Sometime, I don't know whether it's in this speech or in another speech, Starmer was talking about people being bussed in and coming in by train and bus and taxi to increase the violence. And nothing of the sort happened. Nothing. In fact, even the police reports, however much they tried to cook up the evidence, could see absolutely no sign of far-right mobs being bussed in. But this is projection because, as we know, and I can't find it now, but there was a video when Tommy Robinson was holding some sort of a political rally. I think it was in Oldham, and there was a video posted online of Muslims being escorted in to the Tommy Robinson area, to the area where he was holding this meeting. And they were there throwing bricks, and they were being escorted in by the police. And so this is what Starmer is, and this is pre-Starmer, so we can't blame the Labour Party completely. But at least the Conservatives didn't actually make speeches about it. I suppose that's the only thing you could say about them.
And it has no place on our streets or online. People in this country have a right to be safe.
And let's talk about the people in this country who have a right to be safe. The little children in the Southport incident have a right to be safe, haven't they? And they weren't. And then we have this situation going on here in Epping, where there are people who feel unsafe because of the migrants who are there. They are here illegally, so that makes them criminals, but some more criminal than others, I suspect. And there are others who are protesting outside other migrant accommodations. There's one in Canary Wharf, for instance, where women are being molested by some of the people hanging around. And there was recently, just a minute, I'm going to find that. Yeah, here we are. This is in the Standard. Migrants staying at Canary Wharf Hotel arrested after entering blind woman's home. And the only reason that he didn't either molest her or steal from her was it just so happened her daughter or her granddaughter was there and chased the man out. So people have a right to be safe, do they?
We've seen Muslim communities targeted.
And that's the first thing he goes for, Muslim communities targeted. There's this obsession with Muslim communities in the Labour Party. At the time, I think he thought that was the way he's going to keep the Muslim vote. As it so happens, he's not going to keep the Muslim vote, and the subsequent election results in local elections after he took office show exactly what's going to happen to the Muslim vote.
Attacks on mosques. Other minority communities singled out. Nazi salutes in the street.
There was none of this. None of this. This is all lies. Oh, and I might at this point bring up the Hope Not Hate. Here we are. Nick Lowles. He circulated a rumour that Muslim women were being targeted by these far-right thugs who were throwing acid at them. He put this story out. That is real incitement. Was he arrested and held on remand for this? No, not a bit of it. It just went past this guy's head like, a summer breeze.
Wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric. I won't shy away from calling it what it is.
No, you won't shy away from lying about it.
Far-right thuggery.
Yeah, and that's the story that was pushed in all the newspapers and on the media. And even now you get, I made a video quite recently in which the two interviewers were talking about far right all the time. There is no far right in Britain. I mean, yeah, there may be one or two. There is no organised far right. That's not the way the British are, although people like Starmer are doing their best to create a far right enemy so that they can focus on that instead of their own incompetence, prejudice and bigotry.
Crime is crime, and this government will tackle it.
Crime is crime, and this government will tackle it. What happened to this guy? They escorted him back to his hotel. What happened with Ricky Jones? This is what Ricky Jones said.
They are disgusting, nasty bastards, and we need to cull their throats and get rid of their own.
Right, they're disgusting Nazi fascists and we should cut their throats, and he made that sort of an action, and get rid of them. He said that. If that's not an incitement to violence, then I don't know what is. And he was bailed. This is the difference. He was arrested for inciting violence, and then he was bailed. So he got a chance to talk to lawyers. He was out on bail. He was a free man, and he could come up with his story. Oh, it was the heat of the moment. Lucy Connolly, on the other hand, she wasn't given the option of bail. She was told to plead guilty by people who were supposed to be looking out for her, and she ended up in jail for 3 years, and she served 40% of it. And during her time in jail, she wasn't given a weekend leave like a lot of other inmates were. What really impressed me about Lucy Connolly was the interview that I heard her, it was Alison Pearson she was talking to after she'd been released. She isn't the shrinking violet that we all thought she was. She's a very forthright and self-possessed woman, very articulate. And she is going to make a vast difference to the way this country makes its laws with regard to freedom of speech in the end.
Would you consider now taking legal action against the police for misrepresenting you and against the prison service?
I definitely think that's something that I will be looking into. Again, I don't want to say too much because I need to seek legal advice on that, but I do think the police were dishonest in what they released and what they said about me, and I will be, holding them to account for that.
Yes, so this is the impression we got of her. She looks a bit weak, and obviously she is. She's in a terrible state of shock when she's arrested. But she's definitely a forceful personality on her own. And this is what happened to her. I'd explained to the police what my stance was on immigration and made it quite clear that I knew the difference between immigration and illegal immigration. I said, I'm well aware of how important immigration is to this country. I'm well aware that if I went to Northampton Hospital right now, if I said I didn't want to be treated by an immigrant, I'd probably be dead. She actually worked for, immigrant families. She was a childminder. So I explained this to the police, and I explained, there's no, if there's one thing we've learnt about this just generally from Lucy Connolly, it's do not try and explain anything to the police. Just say no comment. Do not try and assist them in any way because they'll turn it against you. So I explained this to the police, and it's not immigration that I have an issue with. I don't have an issue with people's skin colour, race, religion. It's simply that these particular groups of people are unchecked, and I don't feel that it's safe for our children to be walking the streets with people we don't know. But that was massively twisted and used against me. The Connelly family challenged the statement that the police gave to the Crown Prosecution Service, and it was changed because the police had been lying. They had their lead from this guy, didn't they? They actually lied about what she said. This is what the police said to the Crown Prosecution Service. Mrs. Connolly doesn't like immigrants. She thinks they're dangerous to children. Now, why do you think that they would have twisted her words in that way? It all comes down to this guy, doesn't it? Lucy, a perfect candidate for bail, was denied bail 6 days after the Prime Minister made that statement, the one I played for you. Does she think Starmer influenced the way she and others were treated by the criminal justice system? And she said, 100%. I thought his speech was very divisive. It was very much, oh, well, if you're bothered about children being murdered, then you're far right. He could have said that people are entitled to be upset about the unnecessary death of children. So why not just release the facts around the case that they already knew? And she's absolutely right. And I believe that she's going to be talking to some people in the White House soon. Right, well, that's what's going on in this country. This has happened to us in just a year. Just a year. Now, we knew the previous Conservative government was incompetent, but this government has brought it to a whole new level. And it's not just Keir Starmer, of course, although he's as I said, the Arnold Rimmer of British politics, because after he's gone, we've got the Dave Lister of British politics, Angela Rayner, to come up with new ways of destroying Britain. OK, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.